and gents, Romie Reviews here. Please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for American Horror Story Season 8, Episode 4. Oh my gosh. Apocalypse. The witches are back. The witches are back. And this episode, they tried to go and essentially get us to see why all of this is supposed to make sense. I honestly feel like the first couple of episodes, they were throwing stuff out there to try and see what storyline they wanted to work with, because the apocalypse concept, I do get it, I do understand it, but I almost didn't care about the first couple of episodes. There's like a few haha moments, but for the most part, I almost feel like, what was the point? But the point was for a setup. And this episode, I'm not doing it in order because I don't have notes with me. It's all coming off the dome. So it's just going to be based on what I talk about. There's this school. It's called the Hawthorne School. And there's a head councilman. His name is Ariel. He's the one in charge of the school. The whole premise of the school is warlocks. You know how with Coven it was witches or witch focused? Apparently this kind of delves into the whole background of witches versus warlocks. Warlocks are male, witches are female. The issue with all of this is that witches have always predominantly been more powerful than warlocks, and so there's never been a male supreme. This Hawthorne School, they're teaching these wizards, but they're really trying to look for their version of a male supreme. In comes Landon, and so they actually go online to go and find. So I'm thinking, so they have magic, but we're relying on techno. But then again, technically they're inferior as far as their magical power. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised if they couldn't just go and find one. Landon, he's not a witch. I'm just putting it out there. He is not a witch. He is the Antichrist. His power comes directly from the devil, directly from Satan, from his daddy, Lucifer. And because of that, he's stronger than anyone, really. And they see this video of him, getting beat up and abused by a guard because the guard was saying, or I should say the police officer was saying that, how did you stab someone instantly 5 times? And he goes and kills the guard. So they're like, we need to go and get him. The actor Cheyenne, I don't know what his character was called in this current show, but he was talking about how there's something wrong with this kid. We don't need to invite that to this. And no one else agreed with him, so they decide they're going to bring him. So that's when Ariel went and got Michael. And Ariel, clearly, he's like mild-mannered almost, so he's not really about the whole killing life. Michael is. So when Ariel freed him, Michael killed the guard, but kept it discreet. Now we see Michael's background more when it comes to Mead. So Mead was a woman who came in and stepped into his life. Mead, she was a devil worshiper. She was a devil worshiper, and because of that, Michael loved her, and she loved Michael. They were all for this devil worship. They were the types of people that they had the anagram or pentagram, whatever it's called, and she would go and sacrifice animals, do whatever she needed to do to appease her God. And I was just like, oh, Lord Jesus, this is too much. But so then she talks about how she actually killed 3 of her husbands, and she's a mess. But he loves her and she loves him. That's all that matters. And one day when they were going grocery shopping, she wanted a goat's head, like a real goat's head. And the butcher then was like, I'm not going to give you something like that so you can go and do your devil worship. And she was like, I have rights. You're being prejudiced to my religious beliefs. And so he said, go and talk to my manager. I don't have time for this. And so then he started to say some stuff about her once Michael was saying that was really rude. And that's when Michael used his powers on her. Now, it's weird because I feel like Michael, half the time he knows what he's doing, and the other half he doesn't. At least back then. I don't think he fully embraced what was going on at the time. So now that's when things take a turn, because now he's coming to this warlock school, Hawthorne, and he's showing a lot of love, and now he has to go through 3 tests. First test is he has to use his powers to figure out where a book was hidden. Not only did he do that, because he looked in the mirror and he grabbed the book and pulled it out. That was more than what they asked for, so he actually got in trouble for that with Cheyenne. The second test was he needed to prove ability to transport his body from one location to the next, and so he was able to do that with ease. And then the third one was he needed to do essentially like transmutation. He needed to change the water molecules in the air into snow, and so he did that, but he did that to the extreme, to almost killing everyone. And so then they were like, enough. And so apparently all of them were level 3. Someone who's the power of a supreme technically would be level 4, and there's never been a level 4. He would be a level 4 because he's able to do everything. They did not expect him to be able to do everything. So that's when they called Cordelia. Speaking of Cordelia, because now we're going to go backwards. Now we're going to see the moment when everyone was killed and Dina, Coco, and Mallory were saved. I mean, they were killed, but they were brought back to life by Cordelia, Madison. Oh my God, I love Madison. She's such a being, I love it. And Balenciaga. That's what I'm calling her. Balenciaga. You know, the witch with the red hair. Anyway, apparently, like I said, they put a cloaking spell on the witches. They put a cloaking spell on the witches, and we're not sure yet why. I'm sure we'll fully find out the explanation next week. But Cordelia, she's still the Supreme. She's still alive. She was just in hiding with the rest of them this whole time. And Mallory was actually a witch. She came to the school at the time Zoe was there, and she was able to do things with her magic that other witches weren't able to do. She turned so there was a test where you took a rose, you had to change the color of the rose, and not only did she change the color of the rose, she changed the rose into butterflies. So again, some transmutation stuff on another level. And apparently her bloodline is like directly tied to Salem witches or something like that. And that was the synopsis. Remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe and come back. On that, now we what do you call it? I remember the story that I just told you regarding Michael and Meade and how they apparently met. He told that back to Meade, and Meade, the robot version, was like, oh, now I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. I'm just so happy. I'm just so thrilled. I'm thinking, great, cute, cool. But Michael senses a presence. He senses witches. Remember, in the last episode, he said, I thought I got rid of all of you. No, you did not. No, you did not. And so from what it sounds like, I'm thinking maybe that, what is it, Dina is supposed to represent Queenie. I'm not sure, or something like that. I said something like that last week. Anyway, they go back and tell the story of what happened with Queenie. So they're showing some consistency and some continuity, because remember, Queenie was supposed to be at the Hotel Cortez with James. Remember that creepy ghost guy that was trapped in the hotel? Evan Roberts played his character during that season of American Horror Story Hotel. Well, yeah, they brought that back because Queenie was supposed to be trapped there. She was supposed to be dead and also supposed to be trapped there playing cards with him. And so Cordelia went there to try and get Queenie back. She was unable to do so. Took Queenie up and everything and went through every single door through that hotel. It did not work. So now she felt like such a failure, because when she was actually there at the Hawthorne School because they called a meeting because they said they have a Supreme and they wanted to do a test of the 7 trials, which the 7 wonders, sorry, which if you do that and you fail, you die. Remember what happened to Misty. So again, it's given us a little bit more continuity with all of this. And the crazy part is, we'll get back to Queenie in a second. Actually, no, we won't, because Michael was overhearing the whole conversation. So to prove himself, he went to Hotel Cortez and got Queenie. Because remember, he's not a witch. He's not a witch. He's not a warlock. He's the Antichrist. So the Antichrist is operating on something much more powerful than magic. And he got Queenie. And then he went to go and get Emma Roberts' character, Madison. So Madison, she's in hell, because remember, she's dead too. But her hell consists of... Remember, in her storyline, she was supposed to be this big star. She was supposed to be, also kind of like how in Scream Queens, but she was supposed to be this big star. She was supposed to also do music and then an all-around entertainer. Well, now she's working at what looks like a Sears in the clothing department. And there was this woman with this nasty crock pot, and she said she wanted to return it, and there was maggots in it. And so then her manager came and, stabbed her with a cattle prod to electrocute her. And I said, you deserve all this because you were a horrible human being. You were a horrible witch. You were a terrible living organism. Hell is where you actually deserve to be. And she goes and she's folding towels, and she just hates it. She's over it. That's when, guess who? Yes, you guessed it. Michael comes along. And he's saying, at this time, of course, this is 3 years ago, so his hair wasn't as long or anything like that. But what he does is he goes and he tells her, I'll bring you out of this and she was like, oh, if I got a second chance, I'll be a good person. He was like, why would I want you to do that? Sidebar, it was so funny, the conversation that Queenie and Madison have, because they did not like each other. Well, Queenie more so disliked Madison than vice versa. But Queenie was just like, oh, I was trying to convince him not to go and save you. You were like one of the worst human beings or people that I've ever met in my entire life. And Madison looked like she was gonna cry, more so like, oh my gosh, you're too kind. Madison was, propositioning the guys like, I'll go and give you some sloppy toppy if you go and set me free. He said, no, I don't know. And she said, well, can't I just give you some sloppy toppy anyway? Madison's such a hoe. She is such a hoe. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. So funny. So he goes, gets her, and at this point Cordelia's leaving because she talks about how she's not administering the test, especially to a male. Males have testosterone. That's been a leading cause for weaker magic, because the testosterone blocks your ability to access the ancestral plane, or no, the ethereal plane, whatever she called it. And as she was leaving, because all the higher ups there at Hawthorne, they were pissed. They were very persnickety. She goes outside and she sees Michael with Madison and Queenie, and she faints. She faints because it's like, how is this possible? Faints. Queenie goes to help her. Madison's just like, okay, I guess that's my Supreme. I'm supposed to go and help her. Madison is so trash. Anyway, let's talk about the persnickety group at Hawthorne. I mean, these men were a mess. The black one. I loved when the black one was talking to Cordelia and said, oh, so you couldn't save the black girl. So you just left the black girl. But he was just so uppity. He had no hair, but still had his hair wrap. It was so funny. It was so funny. So funny. Yeah, but Cheyenne's character, he was the smart one because he was the one seeing the forest for the trees. He was looking at this like, wait a minute, this does not make sense. This does not look right. This isn't right. Why are you guys just drinking this Kool-Aid? They're drinking the Kool-Aid because they wanted power. They wanted power so bad, they're willing to do whatever it took to get it. Wow, I think that's actually it. So please like, comment, subscribe. Come back next week. Oh yeah, let's talk about Balenciaga for a moment. She was a mess. When they were at Hawthorne, she was like, oh, yeah, let's leave. It smells like unwashed boy. Oh, God. Oh, God. And speaking of Hawthorne, there was also their storyline of their school used to be above ground, but they turned it underground because once, you know, the witch coven announced that there's magic in the world and all of that, there was a outcry of negative support for magical beings, and so they had to go underground. So that's interesting. And Michael Langdon, like I said, he's already the Antichrist. His father's the devil. That's just what it is. Don't at me. That's what I'm saying. If I missed anything that I should have cared about, let me know. Please like, comment, subscribe.